Hi everyone, it's Suzanne with Love and Pieces. Thank you for watching my videos, for coming back to my channel. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you know that I'm recuperating from knee replacement surgery. So instead of being in my craft room, I'm out in the living room, and I'm just bringing things out here to work on to keep me entertained and busy and keep my mind occupied. When I got the Meaningful Flowers August 2023 paper pumpkin kit, I instantly ripped it open and put the cards together. I was so excited to have something to do. I'd gone through most of my other paper pumpkins, and then after doing that, then I started seeing in the next few days the alternative videos that were out and seeing what other people had done. And I decided to go back and take apart the cards that I had made, because I was inspired by what I'd seen some other people do, and then I had started having ideas of my own. So I did my first video, very first YouTube video ever, on the first alternative to the paper pumpkin kit that I had done. And so now I've gone through and used more pieces and made more cards, and I thought I'd just kind of run through them and show you what I came up with. So this one is the first card, or one of the cards from the original kit, and it's made almost exactly like the kit describes. So the only thing I did not do was I didn't put the vellum piece on it that came with it. It just wasn't my style. I didn't like it with it. So I have a crafty friend that we share a lot of crafts together, and I sent her my vellum and she sent me her lotus flowers. She didn't care for those. So I actually have more lotus flowers, and I'm looking for some paper. I'm thinking that maybe some of the dark blues that are in some new paper coming out with Stampin' Up! Might work. Some of the Christmas releases that are going to be available on September 6th. So I'm kind of waiting till I get some different paper to try those out. But that's one of the first cards, and it's made pretty true to the kit. So then the second one, and this is the one I did the video on, this was a pop-up that was supposed to be used with the original second card, and I kind of tore that card apart. I took, there's a piece, you'll see it in another card, that folded over here, and it was kind of a die cut issue of a forget-me-not flap that went on front. I just took that off, and then I put this front on a hinge so that it would keep the back side visible, because it has the story of the forget-me-not, and I didn't want to lose that of what was the original back side of the card. So now that's on the inside of my card, and I just glued this onto a hinged base and kind of reworked it. And again, that's my very first YouTube video. If you want to search it out, it's actually 001 in the numbering. But that's how that card turned out. I think since the video, I did add some twine on the side and the blue dots. These are actually from Dollar Tree. I have a lot of embellishments. I have a lot of stuff from a lot of different places. A lot of it is Stampin' Up!, but that's not the only stuff that I have. And I thought these light blue worked really well with it. It doesn't really match on camera, but it does in person. So that was the second card. The third card, and this is using that flap that was on the other one, the piece that I cut off to be able to make the card you just saw. I just attached it to some yellow paper, added some bees, and then the sentiment. Now the only thing I did to the yellow paper, if you look at this one, the yellow that it was on was kind of white and smeary. It wasn't like a solid color, but it wasn't really clouds either. It was just kind of a white, shimmery, smoky background. So I did the same thing to this yellow. I pulled out my white ink and my blending brush, and I just went over it and was adding some white to this to break up that solid yellow, and just kind of smeared it around and got it all over the yellow part before I attached the overlay. So that was the second card, and I really like the bee embellishments. I think that adds something to it. The third card is from the inside of the envelope. So this is the piece. When you get paper pumpkin, it comes with envelopes, and sometimes on the inside they have really pretty printed paper, and this was on the inside of the envelopes, and I just thought that was too pretty to leave on the inside. I had to take it out, so I actually cut apart the envelopes, and you'll see a couple other pieces from that as well. And then this was the inside, and I just simply bubble cut around the edge so that I had a nice clean flower edge, trying to mimic this piece that was on the front, and I think it turned out pretty nice. I looked in all of my die cut or punched pieces. I keep these kinds of pieces on hand, and just found a few more labels that the sentiment would fit on, and just put that on there and added it to it. So that was actually really easy. I'm not much for fussy cutting on my own. I don't like the rough edge that I get. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very patient with it. But this was really easy because of kind of a bubble shadow that was around the flowers. It was kind of easy to follow. So if you're looking at a way to use the inside of the cards, don't be afraid of that fussy cutting. It was not hard, and you get a pretty good result with it. Now, when I say I used every piece of this forget-me-not flowers, I mean I used every single piece. So this next one is actually on the inside of the card, the flaps that were folded in. It's hard to explain, and I'd already taken it apart, but the little flaps that fold in, that are the front side of the envelope folding around to the back, I pulled those off. So if you look really, really closely here, you can see the split line down the middle. I took those apart so I would be able to measure and cut the piece out that you just saw a little bit easier. But then I had 8 of these halves laying around, and I saw them laying together, and I thought, they actually go together pretty good. So these are the inside glued flaps from the envelope that I just took and matted, and stuck a sentiment on it, and I'm pretty happy with it. I actually like how it turned out. I put this onto a blue mat and then a yellow mat, and it was kind of fading in. So I actually took a white gel pen and just kind of traced around it just to give it a little bit of an edge, and I think that kind of helped it pop on that blue. But like I said, I used every single piece of that paper that I could wrangle. And here's another one, just using those flaps, matting it. And this is actually matted with the envelope as well. So the top part of the envelope was this blue flowery field, and the bottom part of the envelope faded into more of just a solid green. So this is the piece out of the green part of the envelope that I used to mat. And this is the only piece of that I have left. But I do have it. I kept it just because it is a nice, pretty shade. So out of all of that kit, everything that I scrounged, the only thing I've not turned into cards is from the front. Now, this was printed on the front of the envelopes. People talked about how can you save that and still get that nice background piece that I bubble cut. How could you save both of those? I actually went in first and I used my dual punch. I thought I pulled it up here. Let me grab it. Maybe not. Yeah, here it is. This is what I call my dual oval punch. I'm not sure if I've got the right name, but it wouldn't fit with the smaller one, so I used this bigger scallop punch and went in and actually punched out the flowers with it. It was a really tight punch, but it worked. And that gave me plenty of space to know what I could cut apart to get for the rest of my card. And then it's matted. I actually took the 2 3/8 inch punch and punched out a piece of the green, the solid green. And I call it a football cut, but I punched it out. You can see that's where it lived. And then I put the paper back in the punch and made a second cut on the other side and left that kind of half moon there. But that shaped it a little bit better to go with this scalloped oval that I had, and I think it looks good. I've got those 4 pieces left that I'm still going to do something with. I just haven't figured it out yet. It's not sitting with me with some of the blue papers that I have, even the ones that are labeled with the paper pumpkin colors, the matching colors. I'm just not finding what I want to do with it yet, but I will. That and the piece of green are all that's left out of the envelopes and paper pumpkin kit. And from each card, I wound up getting 4 of each kind. So in one kit that was supposed to make 8 cards, I wound up with 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 cards, 4 of each design, and then multiple designs pulling off the different pieces. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Usually with paper pumpkin, I just kind of put it together as it is. I'm not usually that creative with all the different pieces, but I just love this paper and I wanted to do everything with it I possibly could. So that is a run through of the alternative paper pumpkin cards that I came up with. Again, I'm sorry you're not actually seeing me put them together, but I'm working in the living room on a little side table and holding everything with one hand, including my phone, and so it's just not feasible to try to film my work at this point. Maybe when I can get back in my craft room, I can progress to that. For my YouTube journey, I've learned something with every video, and with the last video, I learned how to put thumbnails on. Yay! So we'll figure all this out together. I hope you're enjoying this content. I'd love to see some comments or hear your input. If you've done something with Paper Pumpkin or if you like these ideas, please let me know. And a thumbs up and a subscribe would be great. I'm just getting started, so my numbers are really low, and I'm watching every day and amazed at how many people are finding the videos. But I hope you all have a great day. I hope you do something creative. Be nice to people, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.